Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching, and this is going to be a reading for Gemini for October 2015. I have pre-shuffled the cards because I've noticed that my first few videos are having a really difficult time with being uploaded to YouTube, so I'm trying to save time by pre-shuffling, so I'm making the videos a little bit shorter until I figure out a way to upload longer videos in a way that is not going to give me a headache. Okay, so I'm going to be using two decks. My first deck is the Psychic Tarot by John Holland, and I'm also using Doreen Virtue's angel cards, and I will use one card from the angel deck as a theme for the month of October, and I will use 5 cards for the remaining of the reading from the Psychic Tarot. Okay, so I did pre-shuffle the cards, and I'm just going to ask when to stop now. Okay, top. So one from top, cut in half, and 2 from bottom. First 2, okay, 1, 2, and then 3 from top. Okay, 3, 4, 5. So what I always do is I listen to my guide for instructions. Now, when I do a reading for my clients, one-on-one reading, I don't use any cards. I will strictly connect to whoever wants to come through, mom, dad, dog, grandma, and I will be giving information verbatim, repeating what's being said. However, that's not possible to do for a whole bunch of people at the same time and as a general reading, so I am resorting to cards. What I do want to say is, because I don't typically use cards, I don't associate a card with a specific meaning as it relates to a book. I will be using cards purely on an intuitive level and as I'm being guided by my guide. So I will look at a picture, but the picture is actually meant to facilitate my communication with my guide, so to speak. Okay, so let's get started. So the theme card for Gemini for the month of October 2015 is 8 of Earth. So I'm going to show you. Now, it says, skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. So this is the overall theme, but I always go and ask for more information from my guide. So I'm going to see what he wants to say. Okay, so what I'm being told is that there is a lot of work that has been put forth in the past, and he is telling me this is a work that is necessary or was necessary for building a skill, building a home, building a project, building one's I want to say credential, something that has helped you build something in your life, whether you something in your physical life, a relationship, whatever it may be. But I feel this is more connected to building a skill. Okay, what I'm also being told is that even though it has been in the process for quite some time, and this is a time for a little bit of a celebration, I feel that the learning isn't finished. I do feel that it is come a long way, but I still feel there's a little bit of work to be done. Okay? All right, so that's the theme for the month. Now, what's crowning you, or what is your present, is, it's called heartache and loss. Okay? So I am going to ask for clarity of what they would like to say about this card. Okay, so what they're showing me is, what I'm hearing is, this may be a time of some emotional loss, okay? But what I'm hearing is, and what I'm seeing is a situation where something is lost, and I actually feel anxiousness around it. I feel in a little bit of anxiety here, and like my intestines are, you know, just in nerves, a bundle of nerves. But what I'm being shown is, and when I do this, it's because I get a jolt of energy. What I'm being shown is that a situation has ended, and I feel there is a break. They're showing me a break, and this is connecting to a relationship. And I feel this is more of a romantic relationship or a partnership than business. It could be business for some of you, but I do feel more connected to the emotional, romantic partnership. However, what I want to say is that this partnership was built on false ground or weak ground, because what I'm seeing is a very distinct control imbalance. And what I mean by that is unhealthy relationship. So in the romantic relationship, I see a female being dominated by a male. Now, it could be in any other situation, male being dominated by female. It could be either way. That's just what I'm seeing. So if it applies to you, go along with it. But what I'm seeing is one person in a relationship is being dominated by someone, okay? Could be male or female. In a work relationship, I'm actually seeing a young gentleman who is in a situation where either a manager or somebody in a supervisory role is being very domineering is the word that I get, okay? However, regardless of what the situation was, it feels like it's an ending, and I feel a lot of anxiousness around it. But I really get a feeling that down the road, you will see that this was the best thing that would have happened, because it wasn't healthy to begin with, and it wasn't built on a proper foundation to begin with, okay? So that's what's happening right now. Now, in your past, you have temptation. Now, temptation is being tempted by something, but it's actually upside down to me, okay? So this is temptation, and it is upside down. And actually, that's my major arcana card, which means it's a significant piece of information. So I'm going to ask what this means. So again, what I'm being shown is a situation in a couple environment where there were moments where you were questioning whether this is the right place for you to be. And again, this could be romantic, and it could be work situation, but there was questioning. There was questioning whether, should I leave? Should I stay? I'm not sure if this is healthy, but it didn't happen. For whatever reason, you decided to kind of stick through it. And you didn't, and I feel there's a nervousness with not wanting to make a decision and feeling like, oh, I'm just going to see if it's going to work out. But it's also coupled with feeling very insecure within yourself, okay? So the inability to move forward in the past was very much bound by you feeling insecure, which could also explain why I was seeing a situation with somebody being domineered by somebody else, okay? Now, in your immediate future, what you have is spiritual union, okay? And this is very much an emotional based card, but it is to me in a reverse. So what I'm going to ask is what this means. Okay, so what I'm being shown is that going forward, you are going to have to look at your relationships in a new way, because there's very much a feeling of, if you're ending a relationship, or if somebody's ending a relationship that you are in, there is a tendency to go right back into another situation that feels exactly the same. And there is, I have a fear that you will end up in the exact same spot, but with a different person or a different company. So what this is telling me is that you really have to look deep within yourself and ask yourself, was the relationship or the situation I had really what I wanted? And I'm willing to bet, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to say no. And if it's no, you're going to ask yourself, why was I there for so long? And now that it's over, it's almost like it's, well, it's not almost, it is a new start where you can start your life and the next relationship in a very different way, in a much more healthier way. But you have to ask yourself, why did I draw a specific individual or situation to me that made me feel like I was being controlled or domineered, or I felt like I was being, I didn't feel like I was able to be myself. So you have to look at relationships in a different way and ask yourself a lot of questions, okay? Also, when I talk about it, I feel my guts like they're sinking. This is my powerhouse, and this tells me that my powerhouse is affected and has been affected. And if in fact there is someone out there who's coming out of a controlling situation, you were probably not feeling great about yourself, hence why you have attracted a situation to make you feel the way you do. Okay? Now, your distant past, where you come from. So the card says choose wisely, okay? And what I'm being shown, that down the road, you had choices and you were presented with a lot of choices, but you have chosen a situation that has resulted in not feeling great about yourself, okay? Now, another sign got this card, so I feel like month of October is somewhat karmic, if I can call it that way, because this tells me that you've had choices where things could have been better, but it's like you zoned in on a situation that kind of was worst out of them all. And I feel that happened is because you had to go through it in order to learn what you needed to learn, in order to understand yourself better, and to overcome certain things and behaviors that you have acquired, so to speak, from your past. And I want to say your childhood. And again, this is really connecting to my powerhouse, my feeling of self, of worth, self, of sense of self. So that's where you come from. Now, in your future position, I am shown again rest and rejuvenation. And again, this is somebody else has got this card, and I shuffled them for quite a bit. So rest and rejuvenation, this is very much about your mental house, and it is shown to me upside down. So what this means, I'm going to ask what this means. Don't settle. That is what wants to come out of my mouth. Do not settle. Going forward, do not settle. Don't let your mind dictate things in the future based on what happened in the past. Don't let your mind trick you. Don't let the old behaviors and the old tapes and the old patterns dictate where you want to go. You really need to get a hold of your thinking pattern and your behaviors. And again, this is stemming back from, I want to say, when you were young. And this feels very woman connected. Again, this could be a man, but I'm seeing a girl first and foremost, and then a young man. So don't rest in, and what I say by that is, now that it's over, now that something ended, don't just go, okay, I'll just wait till the next relationship comes along. No, you have to rethink, redefine how you look at relationships, and you have to let your thinking change. Your patterns, your inner voices, that has to change. Okay? So when I connect this card to skilled work and learning all there is to know, this reading varies very much about relationship. And you know, the learning all you need to know isn't necessarily about going to college. This is about learning about relationships, about you, about how things work, about how dynamics work. So that is, to me, also learning. So don't necessarily tie it into book type learning. So this is very much about a relationship, learning about relationships. There is a bit of a loss that's going on, but this loss, I hear, is mandatory. It is perceived as loss, but it is also a blessing in disguise. And you will only be able to see that it's a blessing in disguise down the road. You can't see it yet because your thinking pattern and your ways of thinking are not allowing you to get to that place yet. Okay? So overall, this is a very good reading because I feel like you are getting a new lease on life. You are coming out of it, a healthy situation, and you are going to be in a position where a new situation can come to you. But you will really have to examine your thought patterns and your way of thinking and the way you see yourself in the world. Okay? I hope this was helpful. As I always say, none of this makes sense to me, but it's not supposed to. As long as it makes some sense to you, I am very grateful. Please remember, this is a general reading. It will apply to some of you, maybe most of you, but definitely not all of you. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please post them down below. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in November.